Good afternoon, folks. Dennis Jr. here with my father, Denny Sr., behind the barn at Zager Guitars in Lincoln, Nebraska. Today I saw a ZAD50CEOM on the lineup, and I thought I'd grab it and take it out here and we'd go over a few things. This is a brand new one. This is a very popular guitar of ours. It is the OM size. OM stands for orchestra model. The orchestra model guitars are similar to Martin Triple O's. You know, they have like a Martin Eric Clapton model. I've had a lot of customers come from that guitar to this one. Like the Taylor 814 series, I believe, the little smaller bodies. This guitar is basically 15% smaller than a full-size Dread. So it's about an inch shorter. It's a little bit thinner front to back. It's got a little bit thinner box, and you'll notice it has that hourglass shape to it. You see that hourglass shape? And what that allows for is this dip that goes deeper into the body here. It allows the guitar to sit lower in your lap, so you can get your right arm over that box a lot easier than a full-size Dreadnought. Now, that is great, and they're very, very comfortable. But do remember, on an OM size guitar, you give up just a little bit in power and bass. So it's about, it's about 15% smaller in size, and it's about 15% smaller in sound. So, if you're playing unplugged all the time and need to cover a room with sound, I would probably recommend just our regular full-size Dreadnought over this. But if you play for your personal enjoyment, for yourself, and if you need to cover a room, I always say, my dad says this too, go with one of our acoustic electrics, because at the bottom here you'll see a plug. You can plug into your amplifier or PA system. We have a lot of artists using these on stage that way, or at church, or wherever you're playing, and that you get your big sound that way. Let me look at the electronics on this. This has our newest Precis package. It's got the automatic tuner there, you'll see glowing. Really accurate tuners. Our beginning players love these because it essentially trains your ear as a beginning player. And our artists and advanced players love them because they're dead accurate and they get you in tune dead on fast. So they're nice to have. And that means one less pedal if you're performing, that sort of thing. So anyway, this is our OM size. This is a solid Sitka spruce guitar with solid mahogany back and sides. It has our easy play elements to it, meaning it has a custom bracing system here on the face that gives just a little bit. This does two things. This face gives to the extent where if you press down here on certain strings, you feel that give just a little bit, meaning when you hold down strings, it takes about 50% less pressure to hold these strings down. And that's quite a big difference. If you're coming from a guitar, where you're really having to clamp down hard, when you barely have to press to form a chord, you'll notice it. Again, for the beginning player, that can mean the difference between you continuing playing and not. And for the advanced player and our artist, it just means you can play longer sets much easier. I got guys who say that they used to play an hour on stage, and they can go now 2.5 hours and they don't notice it. So that really does make a difference. The other thing you'll notice about our guitars is our string spacing side to side. A lot of players think our necks are wider, but they are not. That would kind of defeat our purpose. When you go too wide on the neck, you can't use the thumb of the left hand to hold down that big E string because the neck is simply too wide. But on our guitars, you can do that. Instead, we just space the strings wider. And I tell you, on initial, glance at it, it's hard to see, but there is a little bit more space. Depending on what you're coming from, it can be 1/16 to 1/32, but in the guitar business, that is a huge difference. You feel it. You may not notice it, but you feel it. You'll notice when you get on one of our guitars, the mistakes you were making and any buzzes and rattles, you just don't make near as many with that little bit of extra space. Also on our guitars, naturally, we have lower string heights. So the strings are super low up towards the nut, but we raise them so down over the sound hole they're a little bit higher. The reason we do this is for bigger sound. When you run strings too low all the way down the neck, you lose great amounts of sound quality. Also, for your right hand and picking, it's easier when the strings are just a little bit higher over the sound hole. So there's two things there. And do remember, we get most of our playability again from these strings not having near as much pressure, and that you can barely push down and form chords. Some basics on our guitars. All of our guitars have real cow bone saddles. They have real cow bone nuts. There's a lot of companies out there, even in the $1,000 price ranges, that are using plastic on these parts. We just don't do that. We never have. We use genuine Grover tuning machines. See the back here. If you look at the best tuning machines in the world, look at the top guitars in the world, they all use Grovers. All of our guitars have Grovers. I call this our 51-year neck design. It's taken my father his lifetime to design it. It's just a very special neck. We've refined it over the last 50 years, sending it to thousands of players and artists around the world, and this is what we've come down to. It's just a very comfortable neck design. It's a pretty slim neck design. You smaller handed players can get your hand around it with ease, yet we still keep it wide enough so you have some space between the strings here. Comparing this guitar, as far as, you know, a good share of our players these days are coming from high-level Martin and Taylors. I have a lot of guys, you know, coming from the Taylor 5, 6, even 7 series buying this guitar. I have a lot of players coming from the Martin Triple O's, even the high-level ones, coming to this guitar. Do remember, we are the only guitar company with a 100% money-back guarantee and lifetime warranty. That means if you order a guitar from us, you get a full month to try it out in your house, and if you don't like it for whatever reason, we pick it up, we pay shipping both ways, you get 100% of your money back, meaning you can try one risk-free in your house for a full month. We're the only guitar company in the world that offers that, and we're very proud of it. It kind of takes out all the stress in buying. I know you cannot try our guitars out in stores. If you were able to, you'd be literally paying double the money. We've had some of the big stores, you know the names, contact us over the years wanting us to offer our guitars in stores. And we've decided to keep it online. And this is the way quality control is top, because it goes straight from my dad's hands or my hands into your hands. And again, we can keep our prices at about half of our competitors. And for a true handmade guitar, we deliver a lot of bang for the buck. I'll just leave it at that. If you have any other additional questions or concerns, don't be afraid to call or email. You can email me direct at dennis@zager.com. I'm around 7 days a week. I will get back to you usually in an hour or less, or I have my cousins and my uncle online too, and at our phone number too if someone's here 7 days a week. So we will take care of you.